A big thanks to Tiki for sponsoring this episode. Oh man, I'm so excited for Subnautica and the sequel which releases on Switch this week. Do go and check out Glen's video of the best games coming out this week if you want to potentially hurt your wallet. But also, if you get a chance, check out our Buy and Avoid video. I know most of you already did that, as it had a game so bad it got compared to a woodpecker. Yeah, links in the top comment. Congratulations to the person also in the top comment who has won a free game this week, and as much as we're able, we like to give away as many codes as we get in. So make sure you're subscribed, but also that your notifications are switched on. And then all you have to do is leave like a comment. But Mark, this sounds like you blatantly just want to increase the amount of interaction you're getting on the video. Mark has left the chat. We also do weird things like hiding codes in the top comments and stuff like that. So yeah, this week's sale, there's some good games, but I wanted to go for some more obscure titles. So what I've done is included some big names towards the start and middle, but by the end it's going to get more hidden gem territory. And then just after that, it will be two obvious turd territory games with our avoid section. What's on sale this week? Well, let's find out. The first game is Spirit of the North, which matches its lowest price ever. Glen reviewed this on the channel, and it very much appeals to me. It's my type of game. These are slower paced. I guess you'd call them walking simulators. There are a few puzzles thrown in as well, but you play as a fox. In this third-person adventure, there's no dialogue or narrative, but strangely the journey itself still manages to tell quite a compelling story. It's super relaxing, very chilled out, and kind of similar to the first Tree which we saw on Switch a while back. It's not a game I'd suggest picking up at full price, but on sale I think it's okay. It's 2.3 gigs to download, and it'll take you about 6 to 9 hours to do everything. There is a limited run physical as well, but I don't think that's on sale. This sale goes on until May the 17th. Tiki. Well, essentially what it allows you to do is cut out the middleman. When you're using your phone to browse the internet and use different sites, the data that you have stored on servers is often sold to third parties. What you can do here is connect your accounts, so social, Amazon, Netflix, to Tiki, and it will then show you the data that those services hold on you, and you get to monetize it rather than Netflix or Amazon or whoever it is. So it cuts out the corporations, which in my opinion is absolutely brilliant. It's quite a new startup, so the more people that join it, the more power essentially those users are going to have over their own data. And it puts it into perspective when you think that the data, even in 2020, that companies sold on yourselves, myself, and pretty much every internet user was worth $380 billion. So hit up that link in the description, check it out for yourselves, that will help you sign up and join the revolution. Thanks to Tiki for sponsoring this episode. I really like Dusk Diver. I like the location of its set. I believe it's Taiwan, or is it Taipei? If I get that wrong, it's going to be embarrassing. Well, I've said both, so you know. And it combines some Musou elements with an interesting story where a dimensional rift brings together gods, phantoms and humans. And obviously the only person that could possibly defeat such monstrosities is a high school girl called Yang Yumo. The cast are quite likeable. You know what Musou gameplay's like. It can get a little bit repetitive at times, which is why I'd suggest it's a sale pickup. It's a reasonably long game at around about 20 to 25 hours, a 3.3 gigabyte download, and that sale goes on until May the 21st. This is the lowest price it's ever been, with a hefty 45% discount. The Outer Worlds has got a 50% discount in the US at the moment, and look, we all know what a train wreck it was at launch. The gameplay was fun, just as always, but the visuals were appalling. Now, this had a shadow patch drop about a week ago, and I've been running through that for the next patched up video, and it's definitely an improvement. I mean, compared to its launch, the footage is now night and day. It's still not perfect, and I doubt it ever will be. And in all honesty, it hasn't run perfectly on any platform, but for me, it's more than good enough. I also really enjoyed the Peril on Gorgon DLC, and I should imagine we'll get that next DLC come across quite soon. Very similar to games like Fallout New Vegas, and in actual fact, many of the same teams worked on it, and it's all about the choices you make, whether they're positive or negative, that shape your gameplay experience. It's a 15.5 gigabyte download, so it's definitely a chunky one, and you're looking at about 25 to 40 hours supposedly to complete everything, but I spent 50 hours and I haven't actually finished the main story on Switch yet. I like to do all of the side missions, all of the extra content, and obviously I've completed the DLC content as well. As I say, that sale goes on until May the 17th, and also in the US you can get the physical version at the same price. Loads of you were interested in Blue Fire when it launched, but the price was a touch too high for you. This is the lowest it's ever been, $14.99 or regional equivalent. That's a 25% discount. I'm sure just by the visuals alone you can get the comparisons to Hollow Knight, but taken into the 3 dimensions, and yeah, that's quite an apt comparison. It doesn't match those, that game I should say. I say those games because it came out with so many expansions. It feels like way more than one game, but it's still really good here. There's also been a few patches since launch, so performance has improved, and there's a main hub area that's interconnected by different tunnels, passages, ladders, etc. And you can head into these platform puzzle trials. They start out quite easy, but they get brutal by the end. I really enjoyed them, and do check out our full review of the game if you're interested. Now, that sale goes on until May the 20th. It's a 4.1 gigabyte download, and it will take you around about 15 to 20 hours to do everything. I know for a fact there's quite a lot of our Discord community that still play Borderlands. So if you haven't joined us yet, then do go down to the description there and join our Discord. But Borderlands The Legendary Collection is 60% off, taking it down to about $20 or your regional equivalent. And I think this one might be US only. They tend to go US, UK with these games. But if you haven't got yourself a US eShop account on your UK Switch by now, I don't know what you're doing. It's a 21 gigabyte download, but these first person shooters are completely cooperative. This also has local split screen and includes 3 games, the first, second and the pre-sequel. They're excellent. If you haven't played them by now for whatever reason, it's a good time to pick them up before the sale ends on May the 17th. This sale ends very soon. I think it's the 12th of May, so if you want to get this, pick it up quickly. It's Hyperlight Drifter, the Special Edition, one of my all-time favourite games on any platform. It runs at a glorious 60 FPS, but it's the art style that really hooked me in. This is the answer to anyone that says, oh, I'm bored of pixel art and, you know, this same old, same old. I think this game looks beautiful. You have to work your way through this very unusual land that's filled with brutal enemies. There's tons of secrets to find. The combat itself is very quick and slick, but there's an excellent story here. I'm sure you've all heard of it. I'm sure you've all heard of how good it is, but I'm sure there's also a couple of you that maybe haven't picked it up just yet. It has offline 1 or 2 player as well, and at 40% off, I think this is, well, it's at least one of the lowest prices it's ever been, if not the lowest, and that sale goes on until May the 12th. It's also only a 854 megabyte download. I'd say these last 3 all class as hidden gems in their own right, and they're also stupidly cheap. The first of those is Woven, which is 90% off, which takes it down to a silly price, like a couple of quid. It's an adventure game, but it has a very cool mechanic where, because obviously everything's woven, everything's knitted, you can switch in and out different knitted body parts to change your abilities, and you play as a stuffed animal with the apt name of Stuffy. It has a fully voiced narrated story, as well as over 100 different hidden fabrics to discover. It's a good game, and it's underappreciated, so it gets called a hidden gem. This sale goes on until May the 18th. It has a download size of 2.2 gigs, and for this crazy price, it's definitely worth adding to your, let's not say it, let's just add it. Another hidden gem, Mable and the Wood, an excellent Metroidvania, but again, not a game that I would say is worth the full price. I think on a sale this is perfect. You're looking at a few quid again, but what I really liked about it is its interesting mechanic where you fight a boss, say a spider, and then you gain its abilities, so you'll be web swinging all over the place. It's a nice idea. Doesn't feel like a gimmick because it actually changes up the gameplay, and that's where that Metroidvania element comes from. The world's nice enough. It's not overly standout in terms of its visual, but I had a really fun time working through it. This is a smallish 633 megabyte download. It is single player only, and that sale goes on until May the 20th. This last game, nobody's going to buy. None of you, yeah, well, maybe like one or two, but most of you will look at this visual and you go, no, it's terrible. No thanks. I guarantee it. This is a great game. I reviewed this and I was just blown away by how good it was. You can play on your own or you can do co-op with up to 4 different people. And it's also drop in and out co-op. There's more than 300 levels to work your way through. And weirdly, for the art style, I guess, there are 10 different boss fights. If you want to, you can do survival levels, which are unlimited, but there are also daily challenges here as well. The soundtrack is awesome. This is just a great game that doesn't look it, if that makes sense. It looks distinctly mobile in air quotes, but it's well worth a couple of quid. It's the lowest it's ever been. It will take you about 10 to 15 hours if you want to finish those 200 levels. It's a 242 megabyte download, and that sale goes on until May the 19th. Now it's time for our voids this week, and I think this one needs no introduction. It's Ark Survival Evolved. Now you might say, Mark, look, let it go. Let the game go. It's done its time. But has it done its time? It's been 2 years, I believe, since it was launched. And I was just looking back at the launch trailer, and my goodness, it was like they were remaking a new Jurassic Park film. Reasonably crisp visuals, dinosaurs galore, and so many people on screen at the same time. But here we are, 2 years later, and when the game rains, the resolution drops like an absolute stone. There are still multiple crashes. The developer haven't really bothered, have they? They've just literally dumped it on Switch. It is a dump. And they've walked off, leaving everyone to handle that smell for what seems like the rest of eternity. It really is as bad as people say. There are some people that you know, they will say it's not that bad. The visuals are just terrible and it crashes constantly, but it's not that bad because it doesn't cause me physical injuries. That's not my definition of a game that's not bad, I'm afraid. So hopefully for anyone watching this, don't make that mistake. There's lots of places you can find it discounted now, and if you just have to look at the PC version, which struggles under decent hardware, to know that the Switch is not the place. It is not the place. I'm actually very concerned for Subnautica because that game also was a beast and is a beast on other platforms. Last but not least then, for me, has to be Star Wars Republic Commando. Yes, I like the game. It's fantastic. I really enjoy it. It's a classic. But Aspyr have released it in a sorry state. It's just a joke, even down to really easily fixable things like stupidly small text size. There are times, and as you get further and further it seems to get worse, where the frame rate drops below 20, and that's not okay on a game that is so very, very old and should be running at 60 FPS flawlessly. Now I'm sure, well I hope, they're working on a patch to fix all of the issues, and you never know, maybe one came out yesterday and I missed it. But as it stands right now, you should definitely avoid this one, at least until we can go back over it in an all patched up episode, as you may find yourself quite disappointed. That's it for this week. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoy the content. Thanks to our patrons, you guys are awesome for supporting us each and every month, and go and check out our Discord for all things Switch all the time. Keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya.